Good afternoon, sir. Uh, I, Dr. Jitendra Patel, Associate Professor. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Sudhir Vetha. Sir has worked as a executive R&D project management and third party handling in Hitro Labs Limited, Corporate Office, Hyderabad. Sir also worked as a senior executive MSTG Global Planning, Sun Pharmaceutical Industries Limited, Vadodara, from September 5th, 2016 to Feb 14, 2018. Sir also worked as a assistant manager MS&T Global PM, Resi Pharma Services Private Limited, Bangalore, from 2018 to 2021. Currently, sir is working as a manager, global program management, Pfizer Healthcare India Private Limited, Chennai. Sir completed his Bachelor of Pharmacy from Sri Vidyaniketan College of Pharmacy, Master of Pharmacy from Persist University, Tamil Nadu, India, and PhD in Pharmaceutical Science in Andhra University, Visakhapatnam, India. Also completed Master of Business Administration in Kochi campus, IIM, India. Sir is having core competencies over 15 years of experience, 5 years during PhD full time and 10 years at pharmaceutical industry. Experience ranging from project identification to launch, solid and parenterals. So today we are having a great personality to use the his potentiality in pharmaceutical science. Sir, now stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Jitendra, for a brief introduction. So, hi everyone, how are you? So, I'm sharing my screen. Hey, Jitendra, I need your help to share my screen. So, I think you have to enable me to share my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, now we can share, sir.
Yes. So, hope you can see my screen, correct?
Yeah.
Well, just let me know once the time is clicking at 3:15. Okay. Can we start?
Yeah, we can see.
Yes. So I'm getting echo, so I request everybody to mute their devices. Yeah, here we go. So, today I wanted to introduce a concept called project management, and it's important, and we'll discuss about its importance in industry, how it is integrating each and every function in the industry in order to bring the product into the market. So probably everybody is aware of how pharma companies are working and what kind of functions are there in the pharma company, and how each function is working with its capacity to bring the product into the market. Assume, for example, we are aware of that. So formulation department is there, analytical, micro, then extractables, reachables. Sometimes at if we see at manufacturing site, so you have production, quality control, quality assurance, and if you see in the corporate, there are marketing departments, so network strategies, etc., etc. So there are lots of departments or lots of functions involved in order to develop the molecule and in order to bring that developed molecule or develop the product into the market. But there is one department or there is a one function called project management, which integrates all the functions and which creates a value in order to improve the communication between the teams, in order to link the stakeholders across the functions, in order to mobilize the things towards the organizational deadlines, in order to bring the product into the market. So this is the key function in current industry which helps mobilizing the things in order to bring the product into the market with respect to the timelines which are set by the organization, right? So now I want to take you to the next levels. So we are going to see here what is meant by project, right? And how it is different from operations. By the same way, if time permits, I will take you through schedule and cost management, right? So now let's see what is project. So what is project? How it is different than operations, right? A project is a temporary endeavor. That means, so now I think participants are in fourth year B Farm and some M Farm folks are also there, right? So everybody is aware of how to do the project. But what is a project? So it is having some deadlines. Assume every fourth year student is doing project in their final semester, right? So that means they have to complete the project within stipulated time, and they have to do something new rather than producing the existing things which are different than the operations, right? So by definition, if we see, a project is a temporary endeavor. That means it lasts only particular amount of time, undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result, right? For example, your professor has given a task to you to prepare a tablet, so that itself is called a project, right? Whereas if your professor asks you to do some work related to ongoing activities, so those are called as operations in simple terms. So what kind of characteristics these project is having? So the project is a temporary endeavor. That means it has a definite start and it has a definite end time. And it should be unique and it should be progressively elaborated, right? And there are some constraints into these projects. What are those? We have to look after the project scope. That means the scope talks about what needs to be done, what exactly needs to be done, and what needs to be delivered. That means if we pick the example, what I referred earlier, the preparation of the tablet, that itself is called a project. And the scope is what kind of tablet you wanted to prepare. So are you going to prepare, or are you going to aim to prepare immediate release tablet, or delayed release tablet, or control release tablet? What kind of tablet it is you are aiming to prepare? That is called a scope, right? And that is only to be delivered with respect to the project. And you should not look after the things which are not necessary to be mentioned in the scope. Assume like you want to prepare a tablet by the same way with the available drug. Assume you wanted to prepare a metformin tablet, so you have another metformin API left to you, so you want to prepare a capsule. So that will not part of your scope, because your scope is to prepare only the tablet, right? And if you wanted to prepare a capsule with the metformin, that itself is considered as another project, right? And coming to the schedule, so what is the schedule? So we'll discuss this schedule, cost, quality in later on topics. Okay. Now let's focus on what is the difference between project and operations. So as I earlier said, project is having a defined timelines, where operations are a continuous process. So if you see here, so dimensions, so the purpose, what is the purpose of the project? It has to deliver a unique outcome. Assume, so I'm picking the same example, development of the control release dosage form. So whereas the operations, so now you have successfully developed a product, and you have successfully, uh, you know, got an approval from regulatory bodies, and you're aiming to launch this particular product into the market now. So this product has to be transferred to the plant, and the plant, day in day out, they will repeatedly produce these tablets. So that repeated operations are called as, the repeated tasks are called as operations. So that is a major difference. In coming to the duration, so a project is having particular timeline. So you have to start on so and so particular day, by the same way that has to be delivered in so and so deadline. Whereas operations are a continuous process. So there is no timelines with respect to operations, like how we were having a timelines for project, right? And work pattern in projects, it's a not routine thing. So you have to think through what you have to be delivered as per the scope, and you have to design the project. Whereas in the operations, it's a continuous process. So it is a repetitive process, right? What are the success measures in the project? So the outcomes achieved within the constraints, that is a success measure. For example, if you have an experience of developing a tablet, so and you have experience of using any design of experiments, so you have to design an experiment with particularly with respect to some constraints. So example, so hardness is one constraint, friability is one constraint, or assay, or the release, those are some constraints. So you have to take those constraints as a challenges, and you have to reach that scope, that is development of the tablet. But whereas in operations, it's a you have to produce the product in consistently throughout the operations of the particular tablet manufacture. Okay, these are the major difference between operations and project. Now let's see, this is a key concept in project management. So the project management is having 5 process groups and 10 knowledge areas, right? What are the 5 process groups? When you have decided to initiate any project, you have to go through the initiation phase, planning phase, execution phase, monitor and control phase, and closure phase. These are the 5 process groups. Every project has to go through all these 5 process groups, right? We can call it as stage gates as well. 5 stage gates. So assume, if you wanted to assume preparing a tablet. So in order to initiate the development of the project, you have to initiate the project first. What is meant by initiation? So you have to collect the requirements, you have to finalize the scope, and the team has to be finalized. The respective stakeholders has to be assigned the particular project, etc., etc. Those comes into this initiation phase. Whereas in the planning, so how the scope has to be delivered per se, how the scope has to be delivered, the particular timelines has to be prepared for that particular project. So on so and so date we are going to initiate the project, on so and so day we have to complete the project. And if at all any challenges are there, if at all any risks are there, what are the mitigation plan for those risks, etc., etc. So those all will come into planning phase. Coming to the execution phase, once the plan is ready, once all the raw material is ready, and once you know about who are the stakeholders are part of this particular project, then the project has to be executed. And coming to monitoring and control, so when a project is decided to do, so we have to have certain specifications. So whatever the outcome is generating in the execution phase, those outcomes are meeting our specifications or not. So these are considered, or these are the part of monitoring and controlling phase, right? And coming to the closure, so closure means, okay, the product has been developed, the product has been tested and confirmed that this particular product is meeting the specifications, right? When that particular outcome is meeting as per the scope what we have decided earlier at the initiation phase or initiation stage gate, then project can be closed. So these are 5 process groups. Each and every project has to be fall into. So it's a thumb rule, it's a fixed process. Now, what are different areas that particular project management is having? So there are around 10 knowledge areas every project must think through. The first one is integration. Integration means, as I explained earlier, this particular project management group has to integrate, I'm talking about very high level, all functions in order to mobilize the things. That means that comes into integration part. Whereas the scope, we already discussed, the schedule discussed, cost, how to budget the particular project, what are the components has to be considered in order to budget that project. Okay, that will discuss in this cost management. Now, what is quality? How do manage the quality? So the quality, I'm talking about very high level. If time permits, I'll explain. So quality management comes with monitoring high level risks and low level, high level, quality attributes and low level quality attributes. Next, coming to resource management. Resource means those people, those stakeholders, those who are part of this particular project in order to deliver the task has been assigned to them. By the same way, raw materials which are necessary to be performed, etc., etc., and leadership teams, whatever the resources, equipments, etc., etc. Like in order to bring a product into the market, what are all the components, or who are the people, or who are the functions are involved in that particular process, comes under resource management and can be discussed here. And what is communication management? How we are communicating to the stakeholders, how we are, communicating if at all any risks are there, what is a mitigation plan, etc., etc. That will be discussed in communications as well as risk management plan, and then procurement management and stakeholders management. So all these 10 knowledge areas and 5 process groups are hardcore for this project management. Now, I want to take you through the schedule and cost management in this session, right? So far we have discussed about what is project, what is the difference between project and operations, and what are the process groups of that particular project, and what are the knowledge areas of particular project, right? So schedule and cost management, these are two knowledge areas of project management. Now, in that schedule management, if we wanted to understand, we have to understand work breakdown structure before going into the schedule management. In this work breakdown structure, we have to see, or we are going to learn about what is work breakdown structure, introduction to work breakdown structure, and what are the advantages of work breakdown structure with respect to list or gist, and techniques to create a work breakdown structure, and relation with project schedule and cost. This is a very key concept if we wanted to understand about schedule as well as cost management, right? Now let's see what is a work breakdown structure. It's very simple. Dividing the largest tasks into manageable deliverables. Assume here what is the largest task. So now at very high level, the team has decided that they wanted to prepare a controlled release dosage form. That is the project scope. Now, what are the further steps? They have to divide that particular scope into more manageable tasks, right? So that will be called as a work breakdown structure. And these are two types, like top-down approach and bottom-up approach. So this is the image which talks about what is work breakdown structure, right? Let me take this laser pointer. So this is overall project, and we can consider this is the scope of the particular project. And that scope can further be divided into phases, phase 1, phase 2. Assume in formulation of controlled release dosage forms, we have two phases. Formulation has to be developed. I'm trying to integrate this process with our ongoing activities, right? So the project, one phase is the formula has to be finalized. By the same way, another phase is the method has to be finalized, analytical method. So phase 1, phase 2. In phase 1, so how we are going to finalize the formula, right? Excipients has to be finalized. Then if it is a tablet, so the process of developing a tablet has to be finalized, whether it is a wet granulation, dry granulation, slugging, compression, etc., etc., or multi-particulate systems, etc. What kind of other techniques involved in this development of this controlled release dosage forms? All this has to be predetermined in order to meet this phase 1. By the same way, analytical phase. So in analytical method development, so we have to decide again whether it is a UV method, or whether it is a HPLC, UPLC, or NMR, etc., etc. And further, those activities further will be break down into further manageable tasks, right? What are the advantages of this work breakdown structure in comparison with the list, right? So when we prepare a list, there may be a possibility of overlooking the list. There may be a possibility of missing out the activities which needs to be performed in order to deliver a project. Whereas in the WBS, In order to develop a WBS, each item or each line item is linked to its predecessor. Each predecessor has to be linked to the top. Means this is the task. This is linked to work package 2.3.1, and this work package is linked to deliverable 2.3, and this deliverable is linked to phase 2, and phase 2 is linked to the project scope. By the same way, in phase 1 also, if we see the top down, phase 1 further is bifurcated into deliverable 1 and 2, followed by work package 1.1.1 and 1.2.1, followed by work package 1.1.2, 1.2.2. That means each task is linked to the deliverables, and deliverable is linked to phases, and each phase is linked to the project. This is bottom up, and this is top down. Project, phase, the deliverables, work package. That means it is technically each and every line item is linked to either its predecessor or its successor. That means logically, in comparison to the list, so WBase is having a more structured vision of the project, right? And the second advantage of the WBase is that it helps to break down the deliverables to work packages. In turn, can decompose till further activity level. This also we discussed. So these are the work packages. Further, it can be decomposed till task level. In order to prepare this WBS, we need a team or stakeholders. Assume, so list can be prepared by a single person, but in order to prepare WBS, we have to sit with all the stakeholders, those who are part of this project. Assume a project control release doses form has to be prepared. So in this, what kind of functions are involved? Analytical, formulation. If we are thinking in a larger scale, so microbiology, then plant, manufacturing sites, quality, QC, etc., etc. So each function is having their own requirements and deliverables. So when a project scope is finalized and decided to develop a WBS, then each and every stakeholder has to spell out what are their requirements, and those requirements will map to the project, right? But whereas in the list, a list can be created by a single person, so definitely there is a possibility to overlook what are the tasks to be performed in that particular list, right? And the last one is a list is just a list. Simple. A list, you can list down number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But whereas a WBS gives a complete hierarchy of the project, right? This is called hierarchy of the project. This is about WBS. I hope everyone got a clarity about what is WBS, what are the advantages of WBS in comparison with the list. Now let's discuss, let's see how this WBS can be created. As I said, this project can be further divided into project phases, then deliverables, then work packages, activities, and tasks. This can be created from top down or else bottom up, right? The same we have, this is the image I have further bifurcated this way for better understanding. Okay. Now, what is work package? Work package. Decomposing deliverables into further activity levels are called work packages. So these terminologies must to understand in order to understand further concepts. Now, this is the task. What is the duration of work package? So here I clearly mentioned the WBS often broke down into the work package that takes 4 to 40 hours to complete that particular activity. That means this work package has a time range of 4 to 40 hours. So beyond 40 hours, this work package, I mean, before 40 hours, this work package has to be completed, right? Now, this work package is called as and considered as a control account as well. What is control account? It is a tool that allows to collect work performance data regarding cost, schedule, scope of the project, right? Each work package links to one control account. Each work package is linked to control account. So control account further will give about the cost or schedule and project scope. So now let's see what is WBS dictionary. So we have WBS dictionary. So in that, each and every task details can be captured. If we pick a WBS dictionary and look after any of the selected activity, that activity description should be there in the WBS dictionary, right? It carries a whole and soul information about the work package, like what is the activity due date, what is its cost, duration, resources, who are working in this particular work package, and what are the risks, what are the assumptions, constraints, work involved to produce deliverables, and acceptance criteria. Okay, now let's see here what is schedule management. In order to understand or to schedule management, so we came across about the WBS. I hope everybody is clear about the WBS, right? Now, this schedule management is having around 6 stages or 6 processes into it. First of all, we have to plan the schedule management. Then we have to define the activities. Activities can further sequence, then estimate activities duration, develop schedule, and control schedule, right? This is the process which helps to document how to plan, manage, and control the project against its schedule baseline and how to manage the schedule variance. Okay. So because of the time constraint, I'm just moving fast because there are further few activities or few areas we have to cover quickly. How we have to manage this schedule process. This is called a precedence diagrams. Each act, so this is the start. So each, once the activity has been initiated, so further whatever the activities are successors to the initial activities has to be initiated in parallel or in sequence. So this is called precedence diagrammatic method or network diagram, right? So in the network diagram, each activity is having a logical relationship. The first one is finish to start. C. D is there. This comes under the first category, finish to start. Until unless A is finished, B cannot be started. Then the second one is start to finish. This one, start to finish, and finish to finish, the last one, right? Types of dependencies, it's very at very high level, so I'm just skipping because of the time constraint. Let's go to the core concept. How to estimate an activity duration. This is a key area every project manager or every individual employee or every individual person has to look after. Why? Because estimate activities duration is a key area which straight away involved into the complete schedule of the project. By the same way that time is directly proportional to the money, right? So if time is taking more, it directly proportional to the money. It increases the cost as well. That's why a person should be thoroughly evaluate how much time is needed in order to complete any activity. Assume here a manager has called to a person and asked, hey buddy, how it's going? So what is the status of the deliverable and how long it takes to complete, right? So this person is not aware of exactly what he's hiring. Just with the benefit, for the benefit of the team, I'm just reading it out because that's how I designed this presentation, right? So a person got a call from one person, his senior member, and asked, and he has asked about the timeline. So this person is saying that I have no idea how long that will take, and he was talking with himself, and I don't know even what he is asking me to do. Then what should I say? I will take my best guess and double the time. This is wrong, exactly correct. This is called padding. That means a pad is an extra time or cost added to an estimate because the estimator does not have enough information. You got my point? So assume your faculty member has asked to you that how much time you need further to complete that activity. So you're in a situation where you does not know what your faculty member is asking, and you're thinking that okay, let me guess wildly, and I'll reply to him that sir, I do, okay, I know what you are asking. So this is the activity I have been doing, and still we need 2 hours or 3 hours to complete this activity. But in reality, that takes around only 15 minutes, right? That's where I'm taking you through. So estimating the activity is very crucial process in schedule management. Then If based upon this answer, so what is the output? So what would be the result if all estimates provides with this padding? Obviously, what's the fate of the project? With this information, how management takes the decision, isn't it? And what is the impact on the project? What is the impact? It is a realistic cost and realistic schedule of the project will be developed. Obviously, that impacts entire project because of unrealistic schedule and unrealistic cost. That's why whenever we wanted to estimate a project duration, we should the person should know about how much time each and every individual activity is required, and with that the project time has to be estimated. Later, the time will be converting into dollar value in order to arrive a budget for that particular project. Okay. Now, what are the estimation techniques? There are around 5 estimation techniques. So it's very simple, like it's a 1 point estimate, analog estimate, parametric estimate, 3 point estimate, and bottom up estimate. Right? So with the because of the time constraint, I'm just skipping, but this is a core concept of this. But so what this image is saying, so if we follow any of these techniques, okay, you will end up with getting a realistic estimates that will be converting into schedule, a realistic schedule and realistic cost. Now, how to develop a schedule? Using a network analysis. This is right. Do I have time for this? I'm saying it's 3:20.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Then let me continue here to explain how to develop a schedule. So by using schedule network analysis, so we have around 4 paths. One is critical path method, schedule compression method, what if Monte Carlo analysis, and resources optimization. So what is critical path? So critical path means it is the longest duration of the path in the network diagram. Okay, if at all, if any nearest critical path is there, this path is closest during this critical path, right? So in order to develop this schedule, so these terminologies has to be understood. Like what is the total float, free float, project or total float, or negative float. For the team's interest, I just wanted to read out and explain. So what is total float? The amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying project and end date. Assume so you have a project scope that has to be delivered by so and date. Assume today we are sitting in 21st of February, and you have a deadline of delivering this project by 28th. But the total float gives you an idea that okay, still if how much time I have to delay this project without having any impact on the deadline. That means if I don't initiate today, would I have time to initiate by tomorrow? And even that doesn't have any impact on the overall timelines? If yes, that is called a total flow. Now, what is free flow? Amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying early start of the successor. That means two activities are there. So how much time you can delay this activity without delaying the further second activity, I mean successor activity. That is called free flow. Now, what's project or total flow? The amount of time project can be delayed without delaying the end date of the project deadline. That means overall delay without delaying the end date. And negative float means delay in a critical path leads negative flow. That means the critical path we have discussed, right? That is the longest duration of the network diagram. So longest duration means, assume here one project is there. So lots of activities are associated in order to complete one particular phase of that particular project. That is called a critical path. If the delay in the critical path leads to negative float, that is means if at all any delay has happened in that particular critical path or phase of those activities on the critical path, the negative float will come. If negative float will come, then how to handle this? Assume situation. So negative float has been identified in the project. How to manage it? Shall I ask management for more time to do the project? Would that be really possible? No, obviously management will not give much time because they are paying. Or else there are any ways to meet the deliverables without delaying the further timelines. Yes, we have a second option, that is we have to have a process in place called either fast tracking or crashing of those activities. What is fast tracking? Instead of doing the activities in sequence, we'll do those activities in parallel. That is called fast tracking. Crashing means carefully identify if we delay some activities, or if still we remove some activities, but still those projects can be delivered. In such case, we have to crash those activities and accelerate remaining activities to be performed in order to meet the timelines. Now, let's see what is another process called data analysis or simulation. It's called as a Monte Carlo analysis. Based upon the 3-point estimate, it will be performed using some computer softwares, right? Then resources optimization. How do we optimize the resources? By doing leveling of the resources or smoothing of the resources. So what is leveling of the resources? Resources, limited schedule, and results in increase in cost and time. If we leveling the resources, obviously it is having an impact on cost as well as time. Whereas if we smooth the resources, we can meet the target timelines without having any impact. So now, if we use this Monte Carlo, the project schedule can be managed. So this is and this is schedule management. This can be created using Microsoft Project Plan, right? This is called project network diagram. That's it. Project schedule bar, it's called. So that's about a topic we discussed about schedule management. I hope everybody is clear. So Roy, this is what I completed about one topic. You want me to go ahead for a second topic as well? It's a cost management. It may take around 10 to 15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Right. Cost management. So before we started the topic schedule management, we understood about work breakdown structure, correct? So that work breakdown structure is very important in order to pull out the best possible schedule by the same way, best possible cost or the budget of the particular project. So each WBS is having a control account, right? It talks about project cost, project budget, etc. Let us see what are the cost management processes. Cost has to be planned, and the cost has to be estimated, and the budget has to be determined, and cost has to be controlled. These are the 4 in the cost management process. In order to understand the cost management process, the only way is to learn about the formulas, right? What is life cycle costing? This concept talks about the entire life of the project. It's a life cycle costing. That means from the initiation of the project till completion, how much cost is needed in order to develop the project with respect to other requirements, material, stakeholders, indirect costs, direct costs, etc., etc. It talks about that life cycle costing talks about those concepts. Now, value analysis or value engineering. This is a topic which focuses on how to minimize the cost and deliver the project or product effectively with less budget. This is called value analysis or value engineering. Now, another terminology is called internal rate of returns. See, until unlike schedule management or project management basic concepts, so cost management is completely different, because the cost management is straight away linked to the concepts which were explained in the definitions or the topics. So that's why. So here maybe these two slides are more bulky with respect to the data, right? So internal rate of returns. So organization evaluates evaluates that among a bunch of projects, which project gives highest rate of return to invest. As we have four projects. Four projects. One project is having a budget needed to develop 1 lakh. Second project is 2 lakhs. The third project is 3 lakhs, and fourth project is 4 lakhs. That means you need 10 lakhs to develop four projects. Organization is also having a budget of 10 lakhs, but organization thinks, if I invest this much amount on any of the project, what is my returns on that particular project? Correct. Then organization chooses whichever is the project is giving more returns, or obviously investment will be done on that particular project. This concept is called internal rate of returns. Now, what is a pay period? Meaning, I invested the amount on that particular project, and obviously it is having good returns, but that returns will be recovered in how much time period or how many years? That is called payback period. Return on investment, right? It determines the potential profitability on the investment. So I invested 4 lakhs in the project D, and it takes around 6 years, 7 years to recover my investment. Further, it gives returns on the investment. It talks about return on the investment. Now, law of diminishing returns, meaning what? After certain amount of time, assume, so until 4 years, the it is needed to recover the investment. Fourth year, 10th year, the return on investment would be high. After 10 years, the returns will be diminishing. That means will be less. That is called a law of diminishing returns. Now, what is working capital? An organization's current assets minus its liabilities. That means your organization is having 10 lakhs ready cash in the hand, but by the same way, organization is having around 8 lakhs loans as well. That means what is the working capital of the organization? It's just 2 lakhs. That means 10 lakhs minus 8 lakhs liabilities. That is 2 lakhs. It's called working capital. We have to see this, what kind of costs are there involved. Types of costs: variable cost, fixed cost, direct cost, indirect cost. Let's see one by one. What is variable cost? So these costs changes with amount of production or amount of work. Example: cost of material, cost of wages, etc. Cost of material is not always same. Pick any one of the mobile: iPhone 10, iPhone 11, iPhone 12, iPhone 13. So the product cost is changing, right? So that means it's not fixed, it's a variable. By the same way, wages. So way back the salaries are less. So nowadays the salaries are high because the cost of living is increasing to match the cost of living. The wages also has to be increased. This is called variable cost. Whereas fixed cost, uh, it's assume fixed cost means the name itself is saying that it's a fixed. That means a pen that is 6 rupees. That's what pens companies decided. That means whatever the pen you have purchased from that of a particular brand, so that is fixed. That is 6 rupees, 6 rupees or 10 rupees, etc., etc. Like that. Some examples are setup cost. Setup cost or rent. Rent is fixed for a particular amount of time. Say, assume a building can be rented on 10 lakh rupees per month, etc. And there is an agreement that until within this particular span of time, for example, 3 years or 6 years, the rent will not be increased. That means the rent is fixed. That is every month 10 lakhs. And the utility cost as well. That is fixed. Now, direct cost. Direct cost means these are the attributable things, means directly involved in the project. That is cost of material, team cost, team travel, wages, etc., etc. Indirect cost means taxes, fringes, salaries, etc., etc., right? So this is about core concept, like terminologies. base terminologies in order to understand the cost management. And now let us see how to develop budget. Budget can be developed in a process called aggregation. So this diagram has to be linked with the earlier diagram what we have when we have discussed while we were talking about schedule management, right? Then work packages, control accounts. We this all discussed there, right? If you want for team's benefit, I'll be going back and just show, right? This same diagram is represented in different visualization with some monetary values. See here, tasks. Rolling up these tasks into activities. Rolling up these activities to work packages. Work package is linked with control account. So that means this control account talks about cost, schedule, scope of the project. All these control account work packages will further rolling up into deliverables, then project phases, project name. So if a value is assigned to individual task, is going back to the last slide, right? Tasks, cost will be assigned. Those costs will be further rolled up into activity estimate, further into control account, further rolled up into project estimates. After project estimates, this is a project estimate. Assume in order to bring out the product into the market, this is the cost, $250 is proposing to the management. Then management will add some contingency reserves. This will help whenever any risk occurs in the project. So this is management reserves. This is called contingency reserves. That means addition of more dollar value. Further, that will be rolled up into cost performance baseline. On that, again, another management reserves will roll up into a project budget. This is how we arrive into the project budget, right? This is about from my end. So, any questions? Roy, back to you.
Hi, hello, sir. Yeah, it was really one in detailed discussion from your experience. We saw and we understood, sir. But sir, one thing. Suppose one company invested few thousands of crore for the establishment one project, and suddenly there is some kind of a money crisis or any kind of inflation or any kind of you see the tariff issues. In that case, how the companies generally they do? Just we need to know is how they manage such kind of critical situations.
So, a thoughtful question, Roy, because you are trying to link current ongoing international affairs into this question. But see how company works. So that those things has to be dealt by the management. That's
Mm.
where, if you see here, see up to here. Wait a minute. Yeah, let me take. See up to here. This is the real budget, correct? Activities
Yes.
cost, cost package estimates, then count, then project estimates. This is the real budget, right?
Mm.
Based on once this budget is submitted to the management,
Mm.
contingency reserves will be added by the
Yeah.
management. That contingency reserves will further rolling up into baseline. That means in order to you're talking about a capital project, or you are talking about any project which is happening in pharma organization. Okay, let me link both. Let me give you answer in both the ways. If it is a
Mm.
pharma project, that means a pharma company is bringing out the product into the market. Assume that particular project is happening at India, and aiming to different kind of different global markets like USA market, ROW market, and other Asian APAC regions. That means Asian Pacific regions, etc., etc. So the project cost is same
Mm.
except the filing cost. So here the execution cost is same, including this contingency resource also same. Cost performance baseline. Here in
Mm.
this baseline or in this region, based upon the market which we are aiming for. Assume we wanted to file a ANDA to
Mm.
US FDA, right? There are around $6 lakh are needed. So that $6 lakhs for US market, I'll put into the US market bucket
Mm.
for this particular project. But development is same. So I mean, the scope of the project is to build a control release dosage form.
Mm.
So experimental part, then execution part, everything is same, but the filing cost is different. Correct. So that
Mm.
filing cost will sit into different kind of market buckets. For US bucket, $6 lakh is filing cost. For ROW, in ROW, multiple countries are there. Each country, or if it is a common filing, then that budget will be sitting into that. And APAC, this budget will be sitting into this. So it is the budget will be determined based upon the markets the organizations are trying for. But in case of Trump, I mean, sorry, I not wanted to pick the names.
Yeah.
In case of tariff issues, how? So tariff issues, if you see, it was not long lasting. It's just popped up in last 3 to 4 years or 3 to 4 months or last quarter or last 2 quarters, and again it settled down, right? So
Mm.
in this particular span of time, in around 2 quarters or 6 months, there has not been any major impact. Why? Because whatever the commercial productions are happening, those commercial productions are always happening and going pushing into those markets. But maybe 5 or 10% profit impact is there, but that is not in a longer period of time.
Okay.
Got it? Now, what is the current tariff? It's 10%. This is the latest update today, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's
So there
10.
is no major. But if organizations decides, okay, because of this tariff, now my product is going to be hit, then organization will come with a different strategies how to make more money out of this particular project, or looking after different other international environments, other markets, etc., etc., and by leaving that particular region. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah,
And one small thing, sir.
yeah.
Whenever we are filing for any kind of documents, any kind of dossiers,
Hmm.
uh, is there any necessary to add the budget, the cost?
No, it's not like that. See, the budget will be determined. See, that's what I started the discussion with discussing about the project scope. Correct. What is my
Mhm.
project scope? I wanted to prepare develop a dosage farm and launching into US market.
Mm.
That is one project. That is my project scope. Right,
Mhm.
Zoom. So I wanted to develop a metformin bags or injections, and for US market. That means I will determine a budget which is necessary to launch in US market.
Mm.
Got it? So here
Yeah.
project estimate, in this project estimates whatever other dependencies are there, like market dependencies, external dependencies, and other costs, etc., unexpected cost, like you said, right, like market up and downs, etc., and registration costs, etc., etc., that will be factored here.
Okay, I understood. Because this is not a one-day story. I understood. So if you work in detail with this much hard, vast experience,
Mm,
then only we can manage any kind of project and all. And
mm, yes.
okay, thank you, sir. And as we know you are very much busy in your schedule, but you gave your time to share your information knowledge to us. So we are very much
Thank you.
thankful for
My
your.
pleasure.
And once again, from the organizing team, I am very much thankful and convey my wishes to you also. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, Hare. Thank you very much for the Nirmala College of Pharmacy Management, and my friend Dr. Pamal Reddy, so my well-wisher, and
Thank you.
the entire management committee to make this session uh, happen well.
Thank you,
Of
sir.
course, I presume students are
We
enjoyed this.
appreciated your physical presence.
That's true. So right. So there were other factors as with I explained, right? So yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
looking after for next session. All the very
Yeah,
best.
okay.
Bye.
Thank.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.